I wanted to talk to you, yeah, just to get this out of the way because I want you to have your moment early doors, innit? Because obviously, Man United are the top of the Premier League. They beat Burnley 1-0 last night. I saw the highlights. I didn't see the whole game.
Yeah.
Bit controversial, mate. A lot of stuff happened. So, how do you feel about them being top of the league, first of all? Because it's actually a bit mad. Don't know how they've done it. Not going to lie.
Mate, like I said last one, the season's mad. So, I wouldn't get too excited because in 4 weeks, it could change. And it can completely flip itself.
By the look on your face now, though, yeah. Listen, if you're watching this on YouTube, obviously you can see it. If you're just listening, he's got the fattest grin on his face.
Do you know how good it feels? The fact that it's everyone wrote us off, right? Yeah. And it was like, you're shit, your manager's shit, all your players are shit. It's just Bruno carrying you. When in reality, the last 3 games, Bruno's not really turned up, and we've won. Other players have stepped up. So gas. I've been waiting. We haven't done this since 2013. It's mad. That's 7 years. That we haven't done that for. And I know that we topped it at Christmas under Van Gaal, but it's completely different. Like I said in the last one, I like the squad that we've got. I really like the team that we've got. And there's some players that piss me off, and there's some players that get under my skin, and I'm a bit they still shouldn't be in this team. Yeah. But I'm buzzing, mate. And I think that, as unbearable as some of the fans might be, I think on Twitter and stuff, I've seen Man United fans are just being unbearable just for banter, and they're doing it just to take the piss. I think
of course they are.
In our heart of hearts, we know that we're a fuck up away from literally flipping on its head, and we're back to try and chase him forth. But we just enjoy the moment, man. Enjoy the ride. It's Ollie's at the wheel. Ollie's tricky reds.
I think, to be honest, yeah, like you say, you've got to be happy with it. And like you said, don't get too excited. But if I was you, if I was any Man United fan, I'd be.
Do you know what I was more happy with? I was more happy with the fact that with a game like that yesterday, when it was controversial and stuff, if it was a couple of years ago, our squad would have dropped their heads. And it would have been chasing that. So when it got to the 70th minute, the squad of a couple of years ago would have been well, shit, it's the 70th minute, we can't score, we ain't gonna score. But the fact that they kept going and going, and then you could, when I was watching the game, I could see that when it got to about the 60th odd minute, I was thinking, are they going to make a sub or not, United? But Burnley then thought, oh, they can take us because we haven't scored early doors and they've done quite well. They made subs, and then that opened the game up for us. And then we started then picking holes and stuff and whatever. And then Pogba's goal came from just a bit of patience.
I think. Listen, you've got to be happy with it because number one, from what I've seen, obviously I've only seen the highlights. It was a grind out.
Yeah.
Proper grind out result. Obviously, you got lucky with Luke Shaw. Let's not lie. Pogba scored, and I think Rashford got the assist.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Rashford put it.
But again, Rashford didn't have a good game.
But he was there when it mattered, and that's what I think. A lot of Man United's downfalls have come from. Their big players don't perform. But listen, it got deflection, but it still bagged it. So
yeah, and like I said, even though they're not performing, they're still doing what they have to do. Pogba ran it yesterday, but that's probably one of the best games I've seen him play in quite a while. And Pogba's been consistent over the last few games, and that's what when Bruno went there to carry us, he's been apparently doing for ages. Bruno has an off night and Pogba picks it up, and that's the sign of a good team. When if your best player has a day off, there's someone that's going to go, right, I'll step up then. But touching on the Luke Shaw thing, because I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Yeah, we were going to get into this anyway, but let's do it.
No, by the letter of the law, nowadays, it is a red card. I can completely, but my problem is football is so soft now that when he's gone to make a tackle, and Gary Neville said it a lot, and it was pissing me off when he kept going, he's missed the ball, he's missed a bit, and he's like, no, he's got the ball.
He went over the top of it.
You can tell he's got, but the fact when he's won the ball and the ball's then hit the other player and gone that way, momentum's naturally going to take him forward and he's going to hit his leg. So it looks worse than it actually is. But then you go down the other end and it's a blatant red card. So it's a bit of, which one is the out of the two, which is the most blatant offence that you've got? Because Brady just goes and takes Cavani out.
He does, and to be honest, that's a red card challenge as well.
Yeah,
but
and that's so I know that he's brought it back for the foul, but then even still, I agree it's a foul. I agree because of how it is nowadays. But in my opinion, because of the way the game's going, that to me isn't really you see those in Sunday League all the time.
You do, but
all the time. And
I
know that
go on.
I know it's the same. It's a different level of
That's what I was going to say.
Different level of of opposition, and it's a different level of.
It's a different level of officiating as well. Just everything's different. So it's...
and I get it. He did go over the top or whatever, but the fact is, when you slide in, and you'll know better than me from playing midfield and putting tackles in. I wouldn't really, especially, but just from my experience on watching defending, that if you go in for a challenge like that and you've got the ball and then it's hit off their man and gone backwards, naturally you're going to just keep going and your momentum's going to take you through someone. So,
but what I think. Go on, sorry, mate.
It's one of those where I think that VAR sometimes makes it look worse than it is because of when it slows it down.
Yeah.
So when it slows it down, it looks like he's gone bang and smashed him in the leg and it's a potential leg breaker. But then in real time, he was only down on the floor for a little bit and then he got back up. So how bad really was the tackle? So I don't know.
I see what you mean, but there's a couple of ways of looking at it, right? Because for me, I wouldn't have been surprised if he got a red card, and it's mainly because of intent. So if you look at the way he goes in, right, it's like 2 or 3 big strides and then he just goes through him. It doesn't look like if it looks like he was trying to take him out. I'm not trying to say that he looks like he was trying to injure him or whatever, but the amount of pain he's in shouldn't constitute whether it's a red or a yellow. So I think personally I would have sent him off.
But wouldn't you if the ball, so say the ball was played just in front of Shaw, so it was a bad pass to him anyway, or he didn't read the pass, you've got to take those big strides forward to try and get towards the ball because it's played in front of you. So you're going to take those things, and then I get you, because it is rash from Shaw to just think, shit, I ain't going to get to this. I'm just going to put a foot in. But then that's what most defenders do anyway, is just, oh, well, if I can't get to this, I'm just going to have to lunge in and hope for the best, kind of thing. So I don't think the intent for him was to, I'm just going to snap him. I think it's, shit, the ball's over here, I need to stick a leg in and I need to get something on this, which he did. And then momentum's taking him forward. But I agree. I think that it should have been a red card, and it could have been. But then at the same time as well, I feel like if it was a red card, it's a little bit harsh, in some bits. Because, like I said, when you've got that kind of tackle where it is a 50-50, both of them are going for it, and Shaw's just gone through him, but then you go and look at the other end, and Brady's just gone straight through Cavani, not even trying to get the ball. Yeah. And it's a goal scoring opportunity, because when you watch it, Cavani's nipped the ball round Brady that way. So even if he nips it round him, he's going to get round him and try and score. Or when he nips it round him, if he doesn't get to it, Rashford runs onto that. So
if the Brady thing happened not after what Luke Shaw did, it would have been a red straight up. Yeah. But is the ref thinking about when he gives that yellow? Is he thinking, right, I'm going to have to go back and look at the Luke Shaw one anyway? So instead of rescinding a red card, give a yellow, and then when I go backwards, it's not going to be that much of a big deal.
Well, so obviously there's journalists hear what VAR say to the ref.
Right.
So they hear what they get told. And I'm going to try and find it now.
How does that work then? How do they do that?
I don't know. So I think that they hear what's going on in the stadium, or they get told by somebody what's been said, because there was a
do you think it might be the fourth official?
It might be potentially, yeah. I think
does he tell the coaches, and then the coaches tell the journalist? Because there's no way they've got a direct link to what they're saying.
Yeah, potentially. I'm going to try and see if I can find it. But if not, I can kind of remember what he said. But there was a journalist that came out and he said, let me see if I can find it. So Simon Stone, who's a reporter, he said, so VAR looked at the Shaw foul and didn't think it was a red. They looked at the Brady foul and thought it was a ref, but then told the ref to look at the Shaw incident as the foul was in the same phase of play.
Yeah.
So
essentially what they've done is said, if that Luke Shaw tackle was called as a foul, then Brady doesn't get the opportunity to take Cavani out.
Yeah.
So it basically is saying, look, decide there so then we know what to do with Brady.
Yeah.
Essentially
and I think
what's happened.
But then I also think at the same time, the reason why he only gave Shaw a yellow was because if he did give Shaw a red, then you would face massive like backlash for the fact that was a blatant red card at the other end. But then also, I think that there was a couple, like, so the Maguire goal, like, it's a goal.
I was going to get onto that. Yeah, I was going to get onto that.
It's a goal. And then before that, Pogba runs through into the box and he gets pushed in the back. And that's a pen, but he doesn't even get looked at. So I think with VAR, like, I haven't really got an issue with the actual thing itself. I think it's the guidelines that have to follow with it. So you have to have straightforward, if this happens, this is what the punishment is for it when you look at it or whatever. Because you can't have, say, for instance, like, so even like if you go back to the Maguire handball, like, it's kind of a bit like everyone was going, oh, United are getting the decisions because of Maguire's handball. And it's like, well, he's got a man in front of him and the ball's come up. So he jumped using his arms to try and get up and the ball's gone over his head and it's hit him in the hand. So I don't think that's handball, like, personally, because you use your arms for momentum. Any player that plays football, especially if you've got a man in front of you, you would have your hands somewhere on them to kind of like, not push them, but to like put them off a little bit to make them know you're there.
Yeah.
Like, kind of thing. And it's just so happened he's missed the ball and it's hit Maguire in the arm. So it's not handball. But then you look at the Maguire one where he scores, he literally jumps up and uses his arms and the guy doesn't jump with him. So obviously Maguire's just put his hands there because the guy's in front of him and he's plowed it in. He hasn't grabbed the guy on the shoulders, jumped off him.
Yeah, I struggled to see how that got disallowed, if I'm honest with you, because it just looked like a legit goal. Like, I only saw one angle, the angle from where the opposite side or whatever, but it didn't look like, because Maguire, when he headers, his arm's always there and he goes like that. He puts his head
he does,
he puts his head down towards his arm. So it's like, for me, that never looks like he's getting momentum because his head's not going up away from his arms. It's going towards. So it doesn't, you can't be pushing off someone there. Like, maybe they went under the thing of like, if his arm's there on your shoulder, you can't jump. So it's probably like, do you know what I mean? You're stopping the upward momentum of the other player. But for me, it was soft. Yeah. So I think it should have been 2-0. Obviously, if Luke Shaw gets sent off, changes the game completely. Because they've got a free kick and you've got 10 men. So although I want to say, like, obviously United were lucky, they did grind it out from what I've seen and what I've heard. It was a really good performance. So they deserve to be top based on what they've done. But it just depends on how long it lasts for me, to be honest.
I think it's more about just the consistency of. It's more the consistency of VAR than anything. I think that's getting people in a bit of a gripe, because you see, like, a lot of teams have the same sort of decisions given against them instead of for them, but then the next week you'll see the exact same decision given against them and for somebody else. So it's a bit like we need a bit of disparity between what's actually going to get given and not. Like, I watched a bit of Juventus and against the Swallow, and like, you knew straight away that when the ref went to the screen, it was going to be a red card. Like, you knew, like, the fact that he was like, he gave it initially as a yellow, and they obviously went in his ear and went, we think that's a red, you might want to go check it. And he's gone, okay, gone, checked it, looked at it, and then you can hear him in Italian. Obviously, I can't speak Italian, but I know what you mean. I'm going to give it as a red card. You agree, all in agreement. Yeah, cool. Runs over, gives him the red card. The player doesn't even bother. He just goes, yeah, fine. Yeah, red card, whatever. Yeah. Then you look in the Prem, and when the guy runs to the screen, you're literally like, is that a red?
Yeah,
like, is it? Like, you're like, what's he going to do? And then he'll go, like, and in some bits, it's like penalty, and it's like, that's soft as shit. How the hell is he giving a penalty for that? Like, and so we need
I
a
think
bit
a lot
of
of it as well is like the influence from the people that are actually in the VAR like room or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if they went, look, if they went, we think you should go and check it, and that's all they said.
Yeah.
Then it's completely the ref's decision then. But if they go, we think it's a red, you should go check it. The ref's now got the thought in his head, okay, they've seen it
They
as a
think
red.
it's already a red
Have
card.
I missed something?
Yeah.
And then when you go and look at it, it probably changes your judgment of what you've seen.
Yeah.
So if they were to just say, look, we think you should check it, just call checks. Don't call, we think it's a red. Just if you want the ref to check it, tell the ref that you want him to check it, and that's it. And then hopefully it eradicates any outside like influence on decisions in the game.
And I know that it's different because there's no fans in the stadium, but what I don't like also is when there was fans, it just comes up on a board going checking decision, and it's like, so we're just sat here waiting. Like, why do you not just have it on the big screen as well and let the crowd look at it?
Yeah.
Because usually the crowd can see it. They'll look at it and go, yeah, okay, fair, I can see that. Yeah, whatever. Cool.
Pressure though.
Instead of, yeah, it is a bit but then surely it lifts the pressure a little bit if it's the ref runs over to a small screen and the fans have been sat there waiting for a couple of minutes, and then they start getting a bit aggy because they're like, well, come on then, what is it? And then if you're obviously the home crowd and something goes against you, you're going to think, oh, that's bollocks because you saw it from wherever. But if you then see it on a bigger screen and you can look at it, you can go, oh shit, yeah, no, he might be.
Yeah, no, I feel that, but I don't think football fans are that honest. Like they're gonna be fuming regardless of what you give. If you give it against, like, regardless of what decision you give, one set of fans is going to be upset.
Yeah.
So you can't. You know what I mean? I know I've just said about pressure or whatever. Like, I think refs should be able to handle that pressure because they can ref those games. So it shouldn't be any different to the rest of the 90 minutes. But I definitely think it plays a part on like not having fans there probably makes it easier because you've only got the players to shout at you. Yeah. But all in all, I think obviously, look, they're trying to do what they're doing. They're going to make mistakes, aren't they? Like this whole VAR thing, like narrative, is just annoying. Like we wanted it because we thought it was going to be perfect, but it's not going to be perfect straight away.
No, and although like I said, I don't have a major issue with it. Like, I'm not one of these people that go, VAR's a load of bollocks, like scrap it, because like you can't implement something and then just get rid of it and go back to the way it was, because then what will happen is a pen will get given by the ref or a pen won't get given, and then it will be the narrative of, if VAR was there, that pen would be given.
Can't win. Yeah, you can't really win.
You can't win at all. And also, it's like I said, I think it just needs some like clear guidance. And I think at the end of this season, whoever it is needs to go sit together, look at it and go, right, if we're looking at VAR, this is what's going to happen. This is how you're going to make the decision. This is how we're going to do it. The refs get a bit of, not kind of like training, but a bit of like a pep of, right, this is what we're going to tell you. Then we will leave it up to you to decide. Like, and then it's your decision because you're the referee at the end of the day. We're not. We're here just to advise you on what we feel like you should go and do. Like, so if we feel like you've missed something, we can say, oh, we have spotted a potential red card. Go look at the screen. It's up to you. And then the ref can make his own mind up from whatever he's seen. But it is, I do quite like, though, that everyone said, oh, if VAR comes in, the controversy goes away from football. It's all a load of shit. It's all gone. It's like, no, there's more than ever now.
It's more, yeah, there's
like,
more.
There's more than ever. It's the same, like, it's kind of not, it's not the same as goal line technology, because obviously if a goal goes in, a goal goes in. Like, you know, it doesn't take anything away. Like, but VAR actually has made the game a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, I think what it took away, it also added. So I think you're right. Like, there's still controversy. It's just a different controversy. Like, to be fair, is it? No, it's basically the same argument. Was that a goal? It's the same.
It is.
It is the same. You're right. But I think that's because everyone had the expectation that it was going to be absolutely perfect, and I don't know why. Because look at anything like that gets implemented like that. Like, they bring it in because they're like, we really need to like start monitoring this now, like, and it needs to be a part of the game. And it's not like tested properly, or they did fair enough test it, but it's not like, it's not implemented in the right way. It's not perfect. And I don't know how perfect you can actually get it, but do you know what I mean?
Probably not that perfect, because again, it's human error as well. Like, you will see something different with your eyes than someone else will, and you will miss certain things. And like I said, like we spoke about in the last one, it's also about pixels as well. Like, it could be a pixel you spot that someone else doesn't, and that's the thing that changes your decision or not. So I mean,
ultimately, listen, the refs are still making the decisions. They're the ones that are getting it wrong. It's just with a bit of outside influence. But obviously, it didn't affect the result. Man United
bring
still...
back Kalina.
Yeah, the greatest referee of all time. But I wanted to move on to you quickly whilst we're on Man United. What you think of Pogba at the minute? Because I think personally, like, I know he's obviously was brought in to be the star or whatever, but since Bruno's come in, I think like pressure's off him a little bit and he's actually performing better. So do you think he needs to be like, do you think he's at a point now where he needs to be the number 2 in the team rather than the star? Because I think personally, he plays better when he's not. Because everyone's going to talk about Bruno. Because you mentioned it yourself. You said, look, Bruno had an off night. That was the first thing you said before you said Pogba played well.
It's more because the impact that Bruno's had, you can't not deny that he is our main player.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and this is what I give credit to Ollie for, is the fact of you've brought in a really, really good player, which has then lifted everybody else, which then also, because they put their trust in him so much, other teams sniff that, and they know that. So because they're concentrated on him, they forget about all the rest, because they're like, oh, they already played for United a couple of years ago, so they're not gonna. But
that's a good point.
Do you know what? It's mad to think, like, and it, you know, no one would have seen this, would they? Bloody a good player playing better because he has other good players around him. Like,
literally,
and people can go, yeah, but he was here last year and bloody, and it's like, well, he was, but also we've brought new players in. Like, about 5 players in the starting 11 now are players that Ollie brought in. So they are better than what we had in the first place. Like, I saw a tweet about the time last we played Burnley. And it was like, mate, the squad was awful. Like, it was terrible. It was so bad. Like, It was like Pereira in at cam, Lingard on the right, Phil Jones at centre back. And we only lost to Burnley 1-0 that game, whatever, but we still lost. And it was players like that. And now look at the lineup. We've got De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Bailly's now fit and playing so well. Like, who complements Maguire really well because of his pace. Like, and Bailly's quite good on the ball. Like, he's a mad bastard, and I love him for it. But he did
actually make quite a pivotal block though at 0-0. Threw himself in front of it, and it went over the bar, didn't it?
But more to the point of Pogba, which I agree with you, is like, when he played for Juventus, he wasn't the main man.
Exactly.
Like, when he played in France, when he plays in France, he's like France's love child, and everyone loves him in France, but he's not France's main player.
But because he has a safety net behind him as well, which is obviously different. Like Kante, Matuidi, like, do you know what I mean? Those type of players, which give him his freedom. Like,
France's superstars Mbappe. And you got Griezmann, and
there's loads of them.
Like Varane.
Superstar team, mate.
Like, you've got a really good team. So if you naturally have a good team around you and you're a good player, you're gonna play better. And you look at, I know that everyone will look and go, well, he had quality around him. Well, at United, he didn't really. Like, he didn't.
Not really, because that's what he was playing out of position in that, because there wasn't enough quality to have in those positions. So you had to try and fill him in at CDM and stuff like that. So which is why it wasn't working.
Whereas now, I think now more than ever, because of the harmony around the team, and like, you saw like at the celebrations at the end of that game how everyone was buzzing and he was buzzing, and you could tell like he was so like gassed with that win for himself, and also getting the winner, that he feels like a new lease of confidence, and he can just go do what he wants to do, and he knows that he's got players around him that he can trust. Because I think that when we signed him, he was sold a false promise, and I think that even hypothetically, if we win the league, it's come too late for him, because I think he should have won it beforehand when he was sold the promise of coming to United and being the main man. All of this. But I think that if he does win it, it could, or at least if we go close, that could be the deciding factor on if he stays or goes.
I was going to say, do you obviously you obviously want him to stay, don't you?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I was going to say, obviously he's been bashed quite a lot in the past, and people have said, look, go to Real Madrid, go PSG, go somewhere that you can actually win stuff. Yeah. And apparently he's been linked with PSG. I found out today, but whether that will happen or not, I doubt it. But yeah, so obviously you want him to stay then.
Yeah, 100%. I've always been pro Pogba. Always, I love Pogba. Like the only thing I don't like is his shitbag agent that runs his mouth, and the fact that Pogba doesn't really come out and stop it and put like a foot in it and say, that's not what I think. Like,
yeah.
So obviously, because his agent's coming out and saying shit, Pogba must at least know about it or give him some form of permission. So that I'm not happy with. But in terms of him, there's no denying how good he is as a player, no denying it. And I think that if we do come close and we win some silverware, I think Ollie could convince him and say, if we win silverware now with the players we've got, and we add another 2 or 3, who's to say we can't go on like a challenge to all fronts? And then that might make him stay. But then to counter that argument, I kind of want him to leave to spite the fans that think he's a virus, because I want him to go and show them this is what I really can do, and you're so wrong for it.
And now you've lost me. But is it better for him to stay and prove that though? Because then it's like,
I think
you don't want me out, but I'm here. I've showed you what I can do. So there's no reason for you to have the opinion that you've got.
I think so. But then I think with some Man United fans that I've seen is that Pogba can't do right from wrong. It could be that he doesn't track back enough and he's jogging or something like that. And there's always something that some Man United fans will just pick Pogba apart for.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's ridiculous. And I think that like a lot of fans love him. But I also think quite a lot of fans hate him. And I don't know why. I don't get this whole we hate Paul Pogba thing within our club. And that's why I feel like, look, you won't appreciate him even if he does really, really well at this. Like he's not justified the world-class tag we paid for him, but he's not been shit. He's not been bad. He's been good. Like he's been a good signing and he won't go down as a flop. But I'd want him to go. If he does go, I'd want him to go. So then all those United fans that said he was shit, go have a wank against him, or go have a wank for him over Twitter when he's battering it for PSG or whatever, spraying all these balls and going, oh yeah, he played for us, didn't he? Like they do with Ronaldo sometimes. Like I get that Ronaldo is this like monster of a footballer and one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. But he was just starting to get to that level at United. So United fans feel this, he's our club legend and it's like
we made him.
To some degree, yeah, but he's not. He's a Real Madrid club legend. He made his...
More so than Manchester United.
Yeah, more than us. And I think that's what people will do with Pogba. If he went to PSG and say he went to PSG and he won them the Champions League, you would see no end of United fans licking Pogba's rim hole going, oh, he's Manchester born and bred. He came from the youth ranks and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I'll trace back your tweets from like last year and you were saying he's a donkey and you don't want him at the club. So it's I want him to stay. I love him. And I think that it would be a massive shame if he does go. But I think Van der Beek was bought as his replacement. I think so. Personally. I think, yeah. I think we're not seeing him play a lot because, one, it's a different league to Ajax. Ajax play very possession and like an attacking style football. We kind of don't play that. So he's got to get used to our league and it's good for rotation and he gets to know the squad rather than just getting him and going, there you go, and then letting someone go, Van der Beek's a flop if he doesn't play well.
But the thing is now is like, and we'll get onto this a little bit later, but just to quickly make the point, like I feel like every club feels like they need a star now. So whenever they sign someone, it's like we've got our next star. It's not like you can look Brazil. I know they're not making transfers, but Brazil 2002, yeah, their squad was absolutely stacked. So they had good players on the bench. Like Kaká was on the bench, like Zé Roberto on the bench, like and they like Kaká was a world class player.
Similar to Spain, like 2008 or whatever.
It comes down to really, like for me, like, and we will talk more about it. Like, do people want a star? Just buy someone for like 100 million and he's your best player and that's it, or do you want a full squad of players that are sick and some of them might miss out every now and then, but you get results?
Yeah, full squad, wouldn't it? Full squad's better for.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. A lot of people are just like, oh, but I think it's because of Ronaldo and Messi, it's kind of been bred through.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they're like so good. They're clearly standout players and they win everything.
You've got to look at like any team's transfer stuff. Like you to get a squad player nowadays, you have to pay like 40-50 million.
Danny Drinkwater went to Chelsea for 40 million.
But that's what I mean. If you're going to be a good squad rotation option, that's going to cost you 35-40 million. Like,
but in today's market though, that's peanuts.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like if I gave you 35 mil now, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, like I'm set.
Oh but yeah, like, if I got 35 mil now, I tell you, if I got 35 mil, I'll quit my job right now. I can work for you tomorrow. That's what I'll be jumping. Like, but if to get those types of players now that you need, even just for rotation, it's going to be 35 mil.
Yeah, no,
like that's mad. But like 35 mil, like 10 years ago, got you one of the best players.
I said to you, mate, Zidane was the best player in the world, and he was most expensive, and he was 46 mil.
That's what I mean. So you're looking at rotation players that are just going to cost you anywhere between 25 to 50 million pound. And then if you're a top team, you automatically get taxed on that anyway because they know you've got money. So
and listen, the amount of side add-ons, and if he scores 5 goals in 6 games, give us 30 mil.
Yeah, and anyone watching this, football transfers are not FIFA and they're not pissing Football Manager. You don't just give them the money and that's it. Everything's paid in pissing installments. Everything's done by percentages and fees. And
we don't see the inside business, do we?
No,
we see the price tag and that's it.
So it's like when people go, "Oh well, he cost 36 mil," and it's like, well, it was probably actually 12 mil up front and then everything else in add-ons. But if he meets the add-ons, then that means he's done it.
Yeah.
And he's good. Like, so it's like with Diallo, well, Ahmed, who's come to United, we initially paid 18 million for him, which is a lot for an 18-year-old who's only made like 3 appearances or whatever.
Yeah.
And the rest are in add-ons. And everyone's going, you paid 36 million for an 18-year-old who's only played 3 games. And it's like, if we do pay 36 million, that means he's done something right. He's
doing well. Yeah.
And he's hit the potential we think that he can meet. So I would have no concerns with that. I'd be more worried if we weren't paying money out, like, for it. Because if we're not paying money out, that means he's not doing what we bought him for. Like, so it's one of the, but yeah, I think coming back onto the original point, I think Van der Beek is Pogba's replacement if he does leave. I think he's the safety net, like, for it. Yeah. I don't think he comes anywhere near Pogba, but I think Van der Beek does things very similar in a way, but also there's things that Van der Beek does that Pogba doesn't do.
He's very efficient. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
He's less of a Pogba's more like a flary type player, but he still gets things done. But Van der Beek is just like, don't worry, bang, 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 bang. Like you don't really see like
2-touch, 3-touch play.
He does what needs to be done, basically. Yeah. But realistically, I don't think Pogba's going to leave. I think he's going to stay at Man United because he wouldn't have gone back there otherwise. If he wants to obviously win something with Man United, because he wouldn't have gone back. He didn't get the chance when he was young, so he went away and he said, "Look, this is what I can do." You brought him back. He's not going to want to leave again because otherwise he's just a failure. So he will want to stay. Trust me, he definitely will, because, and especially you talk about him scoring important goals and he was showing passion after, like, in the celebrations and stuff. It doesn't look to me like a player that wants to leave.
I don't think it's also about him. I don't think it's about him wanting to leave or stay. I think it's more about his agent wanting the right price and the right deal for him.
Trying to make more money, basically.
Pretty well, yeah. You know what agents are like, mate. They just want to ship people out and they get their cut of the fee, don't they? So
Yeah, that's how they make their money.
So I think, to be honest, I think that within like the next a couple of months, depending on what happens with us in the table and with us going forward, if potentially we can pick up some form and maybe win a couple of bits of silverware, I think we could sit Pogba down and give him an offer, and he'd probably stay. But judging by what his agent's saying and saying that he's definitely off in the summer, then we're just going to have to take it that he's going to go, and then that's it. So,
I mean, yeah, listen, whatever happens, hopefully it's just the best for Pogba and he manages to actually fulfill like his potential, whether it's at Man United, whether it's at PSG, whatever. He's obviously already got one World Cup, but we want to see him win a Champions League if he can. If he can win a Prem, that's great. Obviously, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I don't want to see Man United win the league, but I want to see Pogba do well because he's a good player and I don't want him to flop. But speaking of...
It's happening. 21 is coming. It's happening. 21 is coming.
Oi, the Prem might be here, mate. Trust me, the Prem trophy might be coming back. But yeah, speaking of midfielders, and obviously it's January, big transfer window.
Yeah.
Like in the past, mate, Van Dijk, Coutinho, Pulisic, big January moves. Another one that I've been looking at, and which has been in the news quite a lot, is Mesut Ozil. Have you seen any of this? Because obviously, listen, it's been quite a saga, to be honest, Mesut Ozil in the last couple of years, or however long.
Yeah.
It looks like he might be leaving. So he might be bound for Fenerbahce.
Looks most likely.
I think he posted a tweet saying, there's 2 leagues I want to play in before I retire, and that's Turkey and America, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
He was on Instagram in Turkey, like taking a photo, like being in Turkey, drinking Turkish coffee with his missus. So it looks like Fenerbahce. But obviously, what do you think about him leaving Arsenal? Because personally, I think it's time for him to go. He's 32. He hasn't played for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Listen, he's coming to the end of his career. So I think, to be honest, if you're not playing, mate, go somewhere else where you can actually work for your money. Do you know what I mean? But what do you think? Because obviously, I know you might have a similar opinion to me, but what do you reckon he should do?
Well, Fenerbahce suits him. He's German-Turkish, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, he'll feel right at home there. It would be a good league for him to go to. Fenerbahce is a huge team. So, more to him, mate. I think that the way that Arsenal have handled him has been abysmal.
Yeah.
I think it's been, especially for a player of his quality. Like, I know that there's been a lot of banter saying he goes missing and things like that, but there's no doubting the quality that he has. And how good he actually is and how creative he is. I think it's just his political view has shagged his career at Arsenal. And Arsenal
is that what you think the reason is for him?
So I think it was to do with
how they were treating Muslims in China.
Yeah, and he stood up for it or something to do with
so, which he should.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to comment too much because I don't actually know.
Yeah, so allegedly this is the case.
Yeah, I don't want to get my
know,
words twisted on it, and I don't want to say things that I'm not too sure on or get facts mixed up or whatever. But I believe it's because he stood up for something politically that he believed, and Arsenal just didn't back him. And ever since then, he's just not played really, has he?
No.
Which I think is daft on Arteta's part, because when he was going through that period of having really shit months of creativity, one of the most creative players you could use isn't even getting a sniff.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up.
But I think, more to him. Like, go have a ball out in Turkey, mate.
I think you're right about the way he's been treated, because personally, he's a world-class player. Well, I think he's a world-class player. If you look at, like, world-class, but out of his prime now, because I think when he was at Real Madrid, he was absolutely unplayable. That obviously got him the move to Arsenal.
Ridiculous.
Went to Real Madrid off the back of a really good World Cup.
Yeah.
He was balling out, managed to get 350k a week from Arsenal, which is and he's still getting that now and he ain't playing. Listen, it might not be his fault.
Arsenal have a history of that though, don't they? They have a history of like signing on older players for massive contracts and stuff. It's because they've been shafted before for years and years by like their experienced members.
The thing is though, if you look, Arsenal have sort of a culture of doing this to their players. So like they always seem to end things like not in the right way. So like obviously Ozil now looks like he's going to go Fenerbahce and they're on bad terms. You had Vieira when he left, it was the same. Henry went to Barcelona and it was a bit like, they're not getting the respect that they deserve. So really, on Arsenal's part, it's absolutely poor. If I was Ozil myself, I'd be like, I'd definitely leave, but I'd take that wage for as long as I can.
Yeah,
100%. 350k for you to not want to play me.
I would. I'd 100%.
And you're giving me that wage, and I'm just sitting here.
That's what I'd say. But okay, I'll run my contract down. That's fine.
Because there's.
I want to play me. I'll turn up to training with a smile on my face. And I'll train and I'll be professional and I'll still speak to everyone. But if you don't want to play me, fucking fine, because I'll go do what I want. Like that, not a problem.
There's talk of his contract ends in the summer, I believe. Yeah. And there's talk of him being at Fenerbahce on loan until then, and then
until his contract runs out, and then they sign him.
Yeah, so they're gonna wrangle some sort of deal. I'm not sure about finances and stuff like that, but
wouldn't they be able to get him on a pre-contract anyway from January?
Possibly. Like I say, that's just rumours. I don't actually know the full extent of the deal because I haven't like looked into it like that. But yeah, so that's apparently the plan. But I think, did you see on his Twitter where he said, I think he was trying to save face a little bit with the supporters here because someone said to him, it was that Ask Mesut hashtag.
Yeah.
And someone said, would you rather play for Spurs or retire? And he said, retire. So I think he's gone, look, I'm leaving Arsenal, but let me not let their fans hate me too much. And I'm just going to side with them and try and make it as good as I can.
Yeah, but did you see what Mourinho said?
Yeah, Mourinho's fuming about
Mourinho was like, who said I wanted to sign him?
Yeah, Mourinho's fuming about that. But yeah, I want to talk about it from Arsenal's point of view, though, because if you're them, obviously you try and get as much money as you can, if you can.
Yeah.
Get rid of him, obviously get rid of the politics, whatever, then that situation's over. You can just think about what you're doing moving forward. But if you're Arsenal, you personally, who and what do you bring in to try and make the club at least a little bit successful again? Because obviously he's going to need a replacement. I think he's going to need a replacement anyway, and it frees up, if you get rid of him, it frees up 350k.
Yeah, I think it depends on what formation they're going to play and what they want to play, because I know that they've got obviously Partey coming in, so
he can sit behind, and he can sit behind if he needs to.
Yeah, and I know that they were looking at Aouar from Lyon.
Yeah.
For quite a while, but I know that Aouar said he's staying.
They've also been linked with Julian Brandt.
That would be a very good signing
from Dortmund.
Very, very. Julian Brandt's a hell of a player.
Who apparently hasn't been performing in Bundesliga, but I think you've got players like Sancho, Haaland, like people are just going to overshadow him. So I think Brandt is a very good shout because he's very creative.
Probably also, I know that like defense isn't really too like Holding's just signed a new deal, so they're probably not looking for they're probably not looking for a centre back or anything. So I mean, Saka's coming on leaps and bounds, and Emil Smith.
Saka's and Smith Rowe, they're playing really well at the minute.
They're getting a bit of a look in now.
That's where the majority of their creativity is coming from.
I think for creative midfield, Brandt would be a very good shout. There's a guy, there's another guy in France that's playing for Brest, and I can't remember for the life of me what his name is. I think it's like Favorite or something.
Favorite,
or is spelled. Let me have a look.
I don't know this guy.
So we're linked. Romain Favre. So it's Favre.
Right. Okay.
And we're linked with him at the moment. Like we're being like linked with him and stuff. But he's. I've seen like some of the stats for him that he's had this season, and he's been phenomenal for him. And everyone's saying in France he's one of the best players that is playing at the moment. Yeah, and he can play like anywhere across the attack.
Right. Okay.
And I think that he's a good shout for him. Arsenal have a history of getting French players and making them decent. I think Arsenal appeals to quite a lot of French players just because of the culture that they had under Wenger.
Also, it's gonna appeal to players because of the wages. They can now afford to get better players in. So, are you okay? So for you, do you try and potentially sign 2 or 3 players and rotate, or do you go for the superstar and just think? I know obviously like Aouar would probably be the closest thing to that. I think there's any superstars available, but
yeah, I know that you said before teams are trying to go towards a superstar thing, and while I don't agree with it, I think in terms of Arsenal's squad, because their youth academy is really good and they've got some really, really good youngsters, I think they do need that superstar to give everyone a bit
extra to try and get them out.
I think they do. Yeah, I think they need a bit of a lift. So I think if they can potentially get Aouar, then that would be incredible for them because Aouar's such a good player.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think, but even Brandt, if they can get Julian Brandt for like 30, 40 mil, I think that's a great deal.
I think Arsenal fans, and rightly so, would just be happy to see Ozil replaced. Because, listen, obviously it's not ended the right way, but they want to see the best bit of business now. You know what's going to happen. If he's going to go, he's going to go. You want to see the best bit of business. And at the end of the day, you want creativity. Arsenal have always played one of the most visibly pleasing brands of football. So you want that to continue. Right. You want creativity. Ozil definitely brought that when he was in his prime, like 2015, 16 season, when he was a beast. You want that to continue. So personally, I think, someone like Brandt, someone like Aouar, if they can get Aouar, that will be an absolute steal, mate, because I know for a fact they're not going to be the only team that's looking at him.
Love Hussein.
Trust me, that would be unbelievable. But even Brandt is not a bad second choice, to be honest. Personally, I think
if they can get him for the right price, if they can get him for the right price and they're not diddled by the January increase, because it's hard to get deals over the line, then I think they'll be all right. I think they can do it. But like, especially with like COVID and stuff, man, and people strapped for cash and stuff, you might be able to pick up some good deals and get people in.
Listen, realistically, I had a look at their results. Their results haven't been that bad recently. Obviously, like Saka's turning up, Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of adding to what they've already got because they can play without Ozil easily. And they've shown that.
They have been.
They've shown that. So it's about now building on what you've already got and trying to push higher in the league, basically.
I think that, like, I think the problem is Arsenal fans go into a meltdown really quickly. So once they pick up some bad results, it's literally like we're getting pissing relegated, which I kind of admire it with them because at least they're real. Like sometimes,
but a lot of it is just
the opposite end of the spectrum sometimes because they're delusional as shit. So it's like sometimes I think they needed this humbling, like they needed this little bit of, bruv, you've got Arteta, that's fine, but you need to simmer down a bit, and the results have shown why you need to. Now you're picking up form. Don't then start going, oh, we could push now. We could maybe push for a title charge. No, like chill out. Like you need to
just get top four.
Just let Arteta do his thing. Let the squad do his thing, and then see where you end up. Like it's like with me, mate. Like I said to myself last season, do you know what? We got Champions League football. I'm not going to give myself any expectations for Man United. Like because if you give yourself expectations, you're already setting yourself up to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, it's the same with Liverpool. Like Liverpool battered the league last season, so their fans probably went, well, we're going to dominate now. Well, that's it. So, but if you give yourself that expectation, you can only go lower. Like, so once it does go lower, you start feeling shit. So just enjoy what's happening.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens. Like, if you finish fifth, you finish fifth. Like, it's not as if, you know, it's going to be the end of the world and you ain't going to have any money to sign any players whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, just enjoy it. Like, Arsenal fan, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're listening, hopefully you sign someone creative and that helps give you that little bit of spark, ignites you younger players, gets Aubameyang firing again, and just enjoy what Arteta's doing, see what he builds. If in like a couple of years you've not really progressed from what Emery was doing or like the later stages of Wenger, then you can start calling for his head and asking for someone better. But until then, like, just let him do what he needs to do, see where you end up. You get what you get. Don't get upset.
And also, if you're an Arsenal fan and you're listening / watching this on YouTube, please show Mesut some respect when he leaves.
Yeah,
don't just bash him because some of the football that he's brought to even La Liga and the Premier League has been unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable player to watch.
The same with Wenger, man. Like Wenger, you know, they bashed him so hard and called him a dinosaur, and you know, there were people. I even saw when Arteta was going for a shit spell, people begging for Wenger back, and it's like grass ain't always greener, man. Like you got to look at what you've got and appreciate what you've got.
Appreciate what you've got when it's there because it is going to go.
The time's done. Like the time was done for Wenger, and I think he just kind of, you know, outgrew what he had, and he needed to take a step down. But the fact that like he kind of got hounded, it wasn't his own decision. It wasn't I'm going to step down because I feel like I'm not ready. It was the fans got angry, and he got to the decision where he was like, "Do you know what? I'm going to step down then." Like, and I think
the whole Wenger out thing is for me was just like, do you know what he's done for your club? Like, chill out. Like, just it should have been don't leave Arsenal. That's what it should have been. It should have been stay here for as long as you can, mate, until you're in like friggin' till you can't move. Stay at Arsenal, please. But it's Wenger out, and then when he finally goes, you're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Yeah. But like, and it's gonna be the same with Ozil, mate. Unless they can replace him and the replacement works straight away, which obviously I know it takes time for players to gel in that, but they'll be sorry, mate, that Arsenal that Ozil's left, just like they were with Wenger.
Yeah, cool.
But just show him respect while he's
same with Pogba, man. Same when Pogba goes, you're gonna have United fans that are gonna cry when he's doing well and being like, oh, well, wish we kept him. Why did we sell him? Woodward's a wanker, and it's like, well, what can you do? He's left. He's gone somewhere else. Like, you can't moan now. Like, you wanted him out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's just it's a case of just showing respect and then just get on with what you've got.